everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're actually going to go ahead and start working on the old Nova again. I know it's probably been a year and a half since I've had a video on the Nova. It's been a rough year and a half, guys, I'm sorry, but we're getting back on it. And when I left off in the last video, I had just started getting the upper arm, the control arm for the rear suspension set up. We're going to go ahead and finish that up and try to get the coilover mount bar installed and that kind of stuff. So please follow along and let's see if we can get something done today. Okay, to start off with, this is a bracket that I made for the top of the pumpkin, the top of the rear end. Still a little bit warm. I had to do a little touch-up weld on it. Got the bolt through it with some nuts holding it open so it doesn't distort, pull together. Because we're going to put this in there, and like I said, this is mounting to the top of the pumpkin. That's going to mount into it as a single piece off, and then I'm going to run left and right bars to the inside of the frame. So I'm going to get this welded on top of the rear end, and then we'll move on. Okay, I got that bracket tacked on top of the pumpkin for the rear end, and I got that short arm sticking straight out forward. Alright, so I got a plate right here on the inside of the frame rail. That's where my bracket that I just made goes. I'll get this bracket up here. I can get it up to it. The bracket's going to go about like that. I gotta level it, plumb it up and stuff, but it'll go like that, and then it'll come over. It'll come over here, and it'll set on top of this other bracket, or at the side of this bracket. Sorry. So, next thing to do is make the same pieces for the other side, and then finish welding them. Okay, I'm going to apologize now for the shadows. It's starting to get later in the day. I got my plate that I'm going to weld to the inside of the frame rail, and this is my bracket finished welded. I got a mark here that puts this, this kind of sits on the frame like this, so this actually makes this bracket plumb. So I'm going to weld it along that line here, and that will get me where I want it to be for my end link to fit in it and then be able to connect to my center. So let's go ahead and get this done. Oops. Alright, got that tacked in place. I'm going to go check, see how it fits in the car real quick. Just because I got a line marked on it doesn't mean it's going to fit perfect. So let me go check that out. Be right back. Alright, I checked it out on the car. It looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and start welding. Not too bad. I'm going to let that cool off a bit. We'll start on the next one. Alright. This is the passenger side. I got the bracket welded up. I got the inner frame rail cleaned up pretty well. And now I've got those little bolts in for placement. And now we're going to go around and weld that in. cutting this bar. This is one of the angled bars for the passenger side on this particular type, or in this particular case. I've got to cut it at an angle, and then I got to notch it to fit around the center bar on the top. So I'm going to cut it off for the length first, and we'll go from there. Alright, I'm going to take this over and try it. Alright, as you can see here, I got the angle bar mounted to the passenger side, and I've got it set up so it'll butt into the center link from the pumpkin. So now I'm going to go ahead and get everything locked together, and I'm going to weld this up. Alright, finally got a tack. It worked. Alright, so I got it tacked together, and now I'm going to finish welding it up. I made a small adjustment to get it to fit together a little bit better. Retested it. Looks good. So we're going to finish it up. And there it is, fully welded. Now we just got to let it cool off. Okay, so I've got my driver's side link ready, cut the length, notched out and ready to be welded in here. We're going to weld this in, then we're just going to tack it in here under the car, and we'll take it out, take it back over to the bench, final weld it, and then once we do that, we'll move on to making the final bracket that runs across the center here. So let's go ahead and get this tacked in place. I believe that will do it. So we'll take it out, take it over to the bench, finish welding it up. Alright, we're back at the table and we'll start welding this in. Alright, that's welded up there. Now I've got to get the piece that runs across the ends of this here to finish up the triangle. We'll come back with that in a little bit. Okay, as you can see here, I got this bar cut and notched. I don't want to go any shorter than this, so I only had to notch this out a little bit. I'll do some filler welds on this to kind of fill this in and strengthen it up there. But I've got it measured out. It's squared. I guess that's what you'd call this one. It's same angle both sides. So I'm going to tack it in and then finish welding it up. Okay, that's our tack weld. that's the finished welding done. Okay, I got the top link finished up, sanded down, and ready to paint. Got the inside of it. So now I'm going to paint it with some black paint, let it dry, and we'll come back when we're putting it in the car. Alright, quite dark in here, but as you can see here, I have the bracket finished and mounted up, and it's ready to go. So now that I've got that done, that's pretty much going to be the end of this video. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give me a thumbs up, and then come back for the next one when we finish up this rear suspension with the coilover mounts, and then we'll finally have this rear suspension done. Then once we get that done, then we're going to start doing some body work finally. Make this thing actually look as good as what I'm hoping that it performs. So come back for the next one. We'll see you then.